Please forgive me about that. My chat completely froze up, but I am going to add Alec back so that we can get right into this interview. It was so good, and then that happened. All right, there we go. So that we can continue on with this amazing conversation that we were having. Give us a sec, fashion dolls. Give me a sec. And we're back. We froze. We froze. I had to start a new live. Let me add Alek Couture back. And we're back. We're back. We froze for a minute. We were
Oh,
talking the increase of black fashion designers in 2023. Now, statistics, here are the stats for those of you who do not know. Fashion designer by race. White is 63%, Hispanic or Latino 11.9, and Black or African American is 7.3. 2023 is definitely the year for Black fashion designers for sure. And Harlem Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week showcased a lot of that. Especially you mentioned the Institute, the Fashion Institute. FIT showcased a lot of Black fashion designers as well too, surprisingly. So I was excited to see it all, and I know Essence Magazine. Shout outs to them. They do a lot of showcasing Harlem Fashion Week, not just New York Fashion Week, but Harlem Fashion Week. You see a lot more urban designers that are in touch with the people. I am Carl's mentee, and we love him, and that is from the Nadira collection. You're
oh.
shadowing, and your mentees are here. So how does it
Yes.
feel to have your mentees here?
I'm sorry. What did you ask me?
How does it feel to have your mentees here?
Oh, I am overjoyed. They know that I love them, especially Stephanie. Me and Stephanie are the Nadir collection. She's like I call her my big little sister. From day one, we just clicked and we are like family. That's how close we are.
And let me see. Rockstar Accessories says, "Hey, bro,
Hey,
I
how are
see you all.
you?
Welcome, 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 welcome. If you're just joining in, we are here talking with Carl, owner of Alek Couture, the most gorgeous gowns I've ever seen in the world. So my next question for you is, for you, how would you define fashion?
How would I define fashion? Again, I would have to go back to fashion being a statement of you with the use of clothing and fabric and materials. I don't I don't like when people try to put fashion in a box.
Yeah,
I might not like it, you might not like it, but just because it's not to our liking, does it not make it fashion? You know what I'm saying? Just because it's not trending, does it not make it fashion?
right.
Um, Fashion comes in a lot of different forms. Um, I I feel though, even though you're free to express yourself through all those things, clothing material, uh, fabric materials, and stuff like that, it all does also depend on the proper fit, the proper undergarment, the proper accessories. Sometimes, less is more, but sometimes more is more. Everybody who knows me, I know that I'm all about the shine, the rhinestones, the bling,
You're
um,
speaking my
the
language. I love it.
glamour. I love it all. But there are times when a lot is just too much. You know what I'm saying? We all need to learn to learn to balance that fine line of taste.
Absolutely. Some of my style influences are Victoria Beckham. I
Hmm.
love Savannah James,
Hmm.
like LeBron James style. I
Hmm.
love Beyonce. Of course. So the Renaissance tour has been a lot. A lot of the inspiration that I've been wearing on the show lately has been based off of Beyonce's Renaissance tour. The fashions are amazing.
They are.
And just standing alone, putting your own spin onto it. Who are some of your style influences that you looked up to growing up? I know you said your mom, but celebrity wise,
Mhm. Celebrity wise, growing up, I don't think I had too many growing up, but as an adult, um, for some reason, I love Lenny Kravitz.
I
Uh,
love him too. Very
Lenny, very eclectic, never afraid to do him. It's always in a tasteful way. Um, it's always in some kind of way like new and fresh. Um, I do love Beyonce. For some reason, I love Cardi B.
I love her too. She's one definitely to look out for on the style radar because you never know what to expect with her. She does
Exactly.
the unexpected. Zendaya is another one too. Timeless, classic
Hmm.
beauty. She
Yeah.
always, and a lot of these stars that you're naming, from Cardi B to Zendaya, they dig in the archives. Me, I'm a vintage fashion girl. Like I love Rest of the Soul. Terry Mugler is one of my favorite fashion designers, and when he created his designs, it's all about the structure.
Hmm.
Like the 80s, go back and you look at some of Terry Mugler's designs from the late 80s, like I would have to say 88, 87, around that era, and then going to the early 90s where it was like the Vamp collection and Les and
Hmm.
Specs. Laverne Cox basically bought his whole archive of pieces, and she dug in the archive.
Hmm.
So a lot of these stars are starting to go back in time to like the 80s and the 90s and
Hmm.
purchase these books where it's like, okay, they're in the exhibition, the museum. So
Hmm.
what are you, for you, who are some classic iconic fashion designers that you can think of?
So my favorite, as you just stated, is Terry Mugler.
Love him.
I love Terry Mugler from the time that he first came onto the runway. Like he was my all-time favorite. Alexander McQueen. I mean, that
Rest his soul.
man was just amazing. Um, every fashion show, it was something totally different from the previous show. Um, uh, who else do I love? Um, I love Tom Brown. Uh,
Mm,
uh, ooh, it's just so many. Laquan Smith, I love him. Uh, uh, who else? Ooh, 'cause, some people once they change hands, um, the brand isn't the brand anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to love Gucci, but I'm not so much in love with Gucci anymore. Because once you change hands so much, that signature, what you were known for, is lost. No longer Gucci to me. It's a bunch of hodgepodge of different designers and different thoughts. Um, but yeah, I'm going to stick with those. Those are my favorites.
and I agree 100%. Like, who was it? I can't remember what brand it was. Saint Laurent is another one. It used to be Yves Saint Laurent back in the day, and the
Hmm.
design gorgeous. And they still
Hmm.
give you that nostalgia of the 80s,
Hmm.
which is what I love. A lot of designers like Sergio Hudson, his collection. Um, he's getting a lot of kudos. He dressed Michelle Obama, and he designed for Sherry Shepherd and so many others.
Hmm.
And what I love about his collection is that a lot of designers are also being size inclusive. They're being mindful, as you stated in the beginning, before we had to start over. that a lot of designers are being mindful of the average woman's body type, and not
Mm-hmm.
just being way. They're being mindful that there are women of different shapes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a curvy girl, 5'7", very curvaceous. And I know that when I try to go in certain parts and certain aisles of the store to shop for certain garments or wherever, I try to take in consideration of my body type and form, whatever will work for me. So I love the fact that these designers out here currently are being inclusive with their designs, especially Christian Siriano. He's one of my favorites. And you guys, yes, know that I love over the top couture gowns. Like
Mm-hmm.
Jean Galliano is another one of my favorites as well too.
Yeah, I
The
love
Madonna
Galliano as
collection.
well.
Go ahead. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No, I was saying I love John Galliano as well.
Yes, let me see. Let me read this comment. The Nadir collection says the Black designers need to be recognized more just in our community. We are creating masterpieces. Yes.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
another Black designer that I absolutely love, I had him on my show back in 2021, Jerry Reed. He designed for Lynn Whitfield, Greenleaf, and she wore one of his blouses on the show. Absolutely gorgeous. So he's the designer to look out for. He's in the New York area.
Okay, I've never heard of him. I'm gonna have to check him out.
Oh, yes. And he does a lot of, if you guys like Festival de Carnival, he has headpieces, he has everything. His stuff is over the top. And I say, yes, this drew me instantly to him. And he's a Black fashion designer.
Okay,
And a lot of the stars are wearing his stuff. Like he custom makes his designs and he'll send them to his whoever orders from him, just like with your designs. Absolutely gorgeous. So style music. We talked about style music. What music gets you in the mood to create?
you said music?
Yes. When you're creating, what music do you like to listen to when you create?
Oh, when I create, my stuff be all over the place. I love music just in general, but people will come and tell you my playlist will give you a little take me to church, and then you might hear a twerking song next. It's all over the place. Yeah, like I just love music. Yeah, I love beats and I love harmony. I'm not really a jazz person per se. Some jazz songs do, you know, evoke some kind of emotion in me.
Mm.
Same thing as with classical. I need words, and if I don't have words, then I need a hard beat, like a beat that you can feel in your chest, a beat that's going to get you to moving, a beat that's going to get you to thinking. Um, and with classical music and with jazz music, it's usually something soft and soothing, and that's just going to make me sleepy. I need some vulgar words. I need either you gonna take me to Jesus or we gonna be singing some love songs or we gonna be crying and hurting because all of those things evoke feeling in you and you need feeling to design.
And inspiration, it goes back to what you said in the beginning. Inspiration, you can find the most inspiration from anywhere. And C338 328K says, your playlist is fire. I always just jam songs when I'm around you.
Oh, I appreciate that.
So yes, since your mentees are here, and there are so many people that are looking to. I was watching Cameron Hall just the other day, and she had this young designer on, and he designed something for Sharon Stone. These
Okay.
babies are learning at a young age how to sew, like at 11 years old. It's crazy. She said, "It's your sis Kelly."
I'm sorry, what did you say?
C832K C328K says, "It's your sister Kelly."
Oh, hey, Cal. You know, you
I
can't,
keep
you
getting mixed up. Forgive me for messing up your name, my love.
my name?
No, in the comments. I'm reading the comments off to you.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
rolling up down there so you can see him. Shout out to Jay Evans. Make sure you guys go and check out Jay Evans. He does a lot of interviews with a few famous faces, and you might see a few faces collaborating with him as well too. So make sure you guys go and subscribe to Jay Evans and check out his platform as well too. And he does a lot of commentary on Real Housewives. If you guys are housewife junkies like myself, I love the Real Housewives. He does a lot of commentary on that as well too, a lot of reviews.
Okay.
So head on over and subscribe to Jay Evans. And your sis says, "Hey Carl."
Hey, Cal.
And that's my next question for you. What are some skills that are necessary for people if they want to become successful fashion designers? What are the skills and measures that they need to become a successful fashion
A successful fashion designer or a successful entrepreneur fashion designer?
designer? Both.
Both. So, as an entrepreneur, you have to learn patience. Patience is that first thing. Because just because you sketch it and you've had a conversation about it and you've had a consultation about it, does not necessarily mean that the person that you're designing for is still going to get it. A lot of times, what they see in their mind is not what you were seeing, and that wasn't what you sketched. Um, a lot of people will take a pleat as a fold or just a line in the fabric, and when they get it, they be like, "Oh, I didn't know it was going to be pleated." I drew pleats and get sketched. um, so patience is one. The other thing is you have to also learn not to be offended when people don't actually like whatever you created them. Um,
Right.
Again, because in their mind, they wanted one thing and you gave them something else. So, as a fashion designer, it's also um, beneficial to learn how to give your clients exactly what they wanted. Even sometimes when that means that you have to step back a little to give them what they want, but not also being untrue to who you are. Um, Sometimes you just have to have those conversations. And then you also have to have conversations with those clients who come in as Queen Latifah and want to leave out looking like Halle Berry. It's not going to happen. A dress is only going to do but so much. A pair of pants is only going to do but so much. So you have to have those conversations like, this isn't your cut. This isn't your fit. This isn't your color.
Right.
You're going to need to put on a bra. You're going to need to put on a spank. You're going to need to lose some weight. So a lot of my clients who have been with me for years, they know that I'm going to tell them the truth. Um, and they respect me for it. Some of them, when they first started with me, they would get offended when I tell them, "Oh, your breast's too big for this, or your stomach is too big, or what are we gonna do about your butt?" Like, especially working with black sisters, like they come with a lot of curves. Black people, we come with a lot of things that white people unfortunately don't come with,
Talk.
and a lot of those things are curves, and um, just because it looked right on her does not necessarily mean it's going to look right on you. So let's again design something that's going to be appropriate for your body and what's going to fit your body and highlight you in the best way possible.
Right.
Uh,
And I can give you an example. Niecy Nash, she was on Sherry Show and she said, "I want you to look fetching." And as Black women, I know for us, we're very curvaceous. We're all shaped differently, and it goes to what the comments also just said as well too, which is honesty is the best policy. Have them represent your designs and themselves in the best way possible.
exactly.
And the Smith machine says, "Hey, Paul."
Who said that? I'm sorry.
The Smith machine, is it the Smith machine? Says,
That's
"Hey, Carl."
hey.
Yes. So it's all about being able to take suggestions from the designer because sometimes like you said, the client, even for me, because I also do hair, I went to beauty school. A lot of the clients that come in want to look like the picture. They want to look like the person that's in the picture. but it's just like, I can give you this style, or maybe we can try something else. You give them a suggestion and offer that. Sometimes you have to take risk and do things you wouldn't never do. Like, I would never see myself wearing dresses that come all the way up to my thighs this season. Whereas before, when I first started, everything was covered. And that's because of my insecurity. I have a scar on my leg. I fell off the bicycle when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
And I have the scar, and I always would wear either capris or pants. But everything else, I wouldn't mind showing like off the shoulder. But now I'm just like, hey, it's time to change the style. You can't keep repeating the same thing over and over again. And that's something when it comes to fashion, you're always wanting to be ahead of the curve and ahead of the trend. And that's what I do on every interview, on every episode. You're not going to see the same thing. And in fashion, when it comes to everyday people, you have to be willing to take risks that you wouldn't normally take. Like, one color that I really, really hated, y'all don't eat me up for this, was red. I said I would never wear red. I was always a black, gray, and white. My mom said, why are you always wearing black, gray, and white? We want to see you in some color. Now you see me in color, and I love it. One color that I'm completely obsessed with is neon green.
Oh,
And it pops on my skin tone because as you can see, I'm chocolate.
you're talking.
And anything, whenever we put on, another one of my style influences is Lupita Nyong'o. And she has beautiful dark chocolate skin. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like we've seen her in every color of the rainbow on any red carpet. And I said, wow, she's beautiful. And if she can wear that color, I can wear it too, because we're both not too far. We're halfway, about the same complexion. And
Exactly.
Earl said, how do you feel when clients ask you to copy another designer's design? Ooh.
First of all, hey Earl. Me and Earl are good friends. We go back a long, long way. He's my big brother of fashion. Um, when people ask me to copy another designer's design, um, it depends on where I am again. Like some days, like if you catch me after prom season, my brain, my creativity, my whole everything is wiped out because I've been working on prom dresses. Usually, I start sewing prom dresses the end of December, the beginning of January, and I'm usually sewing 6 or 7 days a week for 16 hours a day, from December to mid June. So if you come to me and you want a new, fresh something, my brain is wiped out. I done gave it all to these high school kids. So if you come to me with a format, I appreciate it at that point because I'm like, I ain't got to think about it. All I got to do is look at this picture and give you exactly what you want. But then when I'm out of that season and I'm creating and I want to be more creative, I get a little offended because I'm like, why are you bringing me somebody else's design? And you got a whole designer sitting in front of you. I'm not a seamstress. I'm not that type of person that you can just take something to and be like, oh, alter this for me or move this sleeve over here or
Right.
at a button. I'm not him. I can give you whatever you want, whenever you want, um, when given the opportunity. So again, it just depends on where I am, what season I am in. But the majority of the time, yeah, I'm gonna be a little offended.
And, and
And
Jay Evans said,
and
go
it's
ahead,
all
I'm sorry.
and it's also kind of cheating that designer. Like if you want that particular garment or that particular blouse or that particular dress, go get that man or woman to make it for you, or go buy it from them. Why are you coming to me to get it? Because the price isn't going to be different. It's basically going to be the same, and they already know how to do it. I gotta Most of the time when you come to a designer and ask them to copy somebody else's work, it takes us longer because now we gotta figure out, well, how did they do it? You
Mm.
know, how they put the sleeve on here like this, or how did they put that boning in there, or how did they make that drape like that? So it's going to take us a minute to figure it out. You go to them, they already know how to do it. They've done it before.
And it's like you're in the dark. If you're a designer, you understand where Paul is coming from because you're in the dark. You don't know how the designer did it. You're having to go off the sketch, the details, making sure that you angle everything right, the illustration. You want this to come to virality. But again, price differs. A lot of people are not willing to pay full price. But the thing is, this is the thing I want people to get out of that. I want people to start supporting Black fashion designers, period. I don't care about the price. And I interviewed Rico LaChapelle, who's designed for a lot of housewives in Atlanta. That
Mm-hmm.
would have been season 15. I interviewed him. And he was
Okay.
saying the same thing. If you want quality work, you got to pay a quality price for it. And a lot of these designers are at your beck and call, they're giving you what you want. And they're trying to make it happen. You have to be willing to pay that price for it. If you want a good product, you have to pay quality money for it
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to fashion.
Exactly. I agree.
So we are going to have some fun here with Alec. Now we do something called the rapid five. All right. And Carl has to tell me 5 things that he can't live without. It can be fashion related, it can be life related, family, whatever you want. It's called the rapid five. And the next one is called turn the tables. And this is where my guests get to ask me questions. For the new viewers that are viewing, you get to know a little bit about me through Paul's questioning. So it can be anything on fashion, beauty, whatever he's curious to know, and you guys are curious to know, you get to know a little bit through his questioning, all right? So we're going to start off with the rapid five. What are 5 things that Carl can't live
5 things I can't live without. Ooh, love,
with?
support, um, communication. That's 3. Hmm. I would just not be able. So my all time weakness is Starburst and Skittles. You would tell me I could not eat them forever, ever, never, ever again. I probably would die. So I would have to put that on the list. Skittles or Starburst. And I love them both equally the same. Um, and then my 5th thing probably would have to be fashion. Like I love fashion.
Me too.
Um, I always think about um, if something was to happen where I had to make a change in my career or I wouldn't be able to sew again, what would I do? And I would be stuck. I would just really be stuck. I guess my other alternative, I also do a little interior design. So I would have that as my fallback. But I just love fashion. I love everything about it. I love, for me, the fabric speaks to me before anything. Like a lot of people will be like, "Oh, sketch me a dress. I'm going to such and such and such and such." I'd be like, "Well, what fabric are we making it out of? What are we doing?" "Oh, I don't know the fabric." I need to know what fabric it is because I could have this giant thought in my head about what I wanted to
Right.
do. Then I can't find the fabric. Then what? Then we got to start over from scratch. I'm not doing that. So let's find the fabric first and then go build off of that. So a lot of times the fabric actually speaks to me before anything. Like a lot of my clients, they will come for a consultation and we'll have a whole hour dialogue of what they want. And they'll be like, well, you didn't sketch anything because I need to find the fabric first. We need to start from the base and work our way up. I can't, for fashion designers who have made it and they have the luxury of getting specialty fabrics crafted and made for them.
Yeah.
Um, they have that luxury. Oh, we can sketch it and then we can figure out the end product later. No, for us who have to go to the fabric store and make whatever in that fabric store work, I need to see what I'm working with first.
Exactly. And how many yards do we need to
Exactly,
get for it and everything?
exactly. Because we might need 10 yards and they only got 3. Then what? Again, we back at square one. And now we both looking at each other real stupid. Like, well, what are we gonna do? And then what? Um, and I forgot what was your second thing. I was supposed to ask you something.
Yes, it is time to turn those tables. All right, so this is where Carl gets to ask me some questions. It can be anything fashion, beauty related, life in general. Whatever you guys in the comments are curious to know, you get to know a little bit about me through his question. And he can ask as many questions as he wants. All right, so take it away, Carl.
So my question to you is, what made you love fashion?
My grandmother just had her own swag. She would come with her pearls. Pearls is classic. She, how would I describe her style? If she was still here, she was still living. Rest her soul, my grandmother. Uh, if you guys watch Walona on Good Times,
Mm,
she always liked to be versatile. She liked to switch it up. Like Janae Dubois on Good Times, Walona always had a different look for everything she came in. Every episode when she came in, hey y'all, she had a different look. She had a different hairstyle.
right.
So that's how I would describe my grandmother's style. And that's who kind of influenced me to get into fashion. And then my assistant principal came along later on down the line throughout my high school years, and she saw me sketching in the lunchroom. Everybody else is doing what teenagers do. And she tapped me on the shoulder. She said, I see you like fashion. I'll bring you some Vogue and Harper's Bazaar. Me being oblivious and crazy, not knowing how big the magazines were going to be. When it's New York Fashion Week, we know that Vogue does a big issue. And the
Hmm.
book is about this thick. It's got at least 800 pages in it. And I was just like, I was enamored. Like I've never seen this many fashion designers, and that's who kind of exposed me to the world of fashion was my assistant principal and my grandmother, and then my mom. I'm working with her now, getting her into changing up her style and look when she goes out and goes to events. So it's rubbed off on me. And what I love that my parents allowed me and my brothers and my sisters to do is create our own identity and our own personal style. So that's kind of how I got into it. Was my grandmother and then my assistant person.
Okay. Now, out of all the years um, that you have been on this earth, what is one fashion moment that you can remember where you were like, if I could do it all over again, I would change?
It would be when I first started. I would always have a blonde mohawk. That is one thing I would bring out. I said I was gonna get rid of it. Yeah, the blonde mohawk can stay away,
Uh-huh.
but those pants. I remember one episode I wore like Aram pants, like the MC Hammer pants,
Hmm.
and I find them. I don't think I still have them. One part of the woman's face was a woman's face, and then another part was a leopard print face, and I wore it on the show, and I said, "Hey, this is a look." So that would be a look I would definitely change. But now that I'm pushing 30, you become more grown and sexy and mature, and I've gotten in tune with my sensuous side and my feminine side. I said I
Okay.
like the new Stevie way better than the Stevie about I would have to say season 3 when I first started. My style has definitely changed throughout the years. So yeah.
And then my last question is, what are the five things you can't live without?
First one is God. Every day I get up in the morning, I do my affirmations. Um, Number two is family. I'm all about family, so I can't live without my family. Number three, like you, I love fashion. I eat, sleep, and breathe it. If you guys are following my Instagram here, you guys know that it's fashion, beauty. The entire page is nothing but from every era. You'll see everything. I'm very eclectic. Number four, number four for me. Ooh, what would be number four? My guilty pleasure, peaches and cream ice cream. I
Wow.
love it so much. That is one of my guilty pleasures. Number five, a good highlight. You guys can see I'm over here glowing today. So that would be the fifth thing I cannot live without is a good highlight. I love highlight.
Okay. That's an interesting list.
Yes, God. and family, I couldn't do it without them. I would not be here if it wasn't for them.
I, I'm there with you. Like family is the most important to me and God. Yeah. So yeah, people have to every day. I just hope I have to never have to deal with that.
The Nadira collection, she says that she likes I love shrimp and crabs.
And she means that whenever she comes here, she lives in Ohio. Whenever she comes here, that's the first thing she says when she gets off the plane. We're gonna have some shrimp and some crabs or some shrimp and seafood. Like, so yeah, I don't think that she would be able to live without those.
I love seafood too. My aunt, when she does her stuff, she loves crab legs. So she does this big pot of crab legs, and then she'll do the corn on the cob. Like some people will do the mix and add all sorts of stuff to it. So it's crazy.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I don't think that you could come from the DMV and not love seafood. We have the best seafood here, right? It is what it is. You know, the crime is a little crazy at times, but I think we all stay for the seafood.
Oh, okay. We got a question for you, Carl. Jay Evans wants to know, what do you think about guys that wear white dress shirts with white undershirt, tank tops that show through the shirt?
Hmm.
That's a men's fashion trend because I have seen that before.
I've I don't think it's a trend. I think it's more. I think some men just don't like for their nipples to show through. Um,
Yes, because there is a lot of see-through, like you've mentioned Laquan Smith.
right.
A lot of his designs were very risque, and I was thinking about going to his site to purchase some, and I said, well, what if I wear something like this on the show? You won't ever see another episode of Style by Stevie again. I can tell you that much. They will flag me and everything. So, but if I was to wear something like that, I would have to put something underneath, and then they have the paint that you could. So anything for fashion.
But I think for men, you know, when we put on a white dress shirt and we're going to an occasion, and maybe you're not wearing a blazer, a lot of people will put on a white t-shirt or a wife beater underneath to, um, so they don't have that see-through, that skin see-through. Because again, men are kind of weird, a little strange in their whole fashion sense. Um, and we don't have as many options as women. We don't have skin colored t-shirts or skin colored beaters and that kind of stuff. And a lot of people don't know about they do now have black wife beaters that you can wear underneath the shirt. Do I like it? No. Do I get it? Kind of, sort of.
Jay Davis says, I think it's tacky. Well, I have seen guys do that, and I understand why they're doing it. I mean, as a woman, for me, the same way I understand, I wouldn't. But hey, anything for fashion. I mean, you got to take risks and do
You
it.
you have
They have the facilities for us. So
you
yeah.
have you have to, and then you also have to be comfortable in your skin. And I think we're getting to that place now. You know, I have clients who still wear stockings and feel it necessary to wear a pair of stockings. Um, but we're no longer in that stage of fashion. You can show your skin. Skin is beautiful. Show it off. You know, but you still have those people who believe that you can't show a nipple, or you can't show too much cleavage, or you can't put on a dress and be able to see through it, and you still need to wear a slip. So you know, it just depends on the person and where they were, what era they were born in.
Like if they wear a dark undershirt, we won't see it. And the Deer collection says, I think it's a bra sensor for men. Yeah, they've come up with some very innovative and revolutionary designs for men's fashion when it comes to see-through. Because as Carl mentioned in the beginning of the interview, Laquan Smith, and that's the first thing that came to my mind was the leopard print cat suit that Rihanna wore in one of his shoots that she did. I think it was for
Mhm.
magazine. and it was see through. I said, yeah, but Rihanna, we know how her style is, and it's
Right.
similar to mine and Carl's. She's badass. She's a risk taker. She's a rebel, and she walks to her own beat when it comes to fashion, and that's
Mm-hmm.
why I love Rihanna because she's so unapologetically who she is. Like
Mm-hmm.
she'll wear a suit and probably wear some thigh high boots. Like she doesn't care. She is savage when it comes to fashion.
Yeah. I Rihanna as well.
Grace, another one is Grace Jones. Grace Jones is one of my style influences. And I love how just unapologetic and fearless and bold she was in the 80s. And the
That,
first time I got introduced to her was View to a Kill by James Bond. And she
mm-hmm.
wore the Eisenbahn Elia
Mm-hmm.
burgundy, she hood and the shoulders. I said,
But
who is that? So my father put me onto that movie and I watched it and I did my research and I said, who is that woman? And then I seen her in Boomerang and she took it up a notch with the latex and everything. Like you never know what to expect with these two powerful women because Rihanna, in a way, gives you Grace Jones feels, but she does it at her own pace.
mm-hmm.
And I remember for the Grammys in 2015, she literally was the last person on the red carpet. Like they were about to close, and they said, Rihanna's coming through." And she came through in the big pink
Oh,
Giambattista Valley
mm,
gown, hair pulled back into this bun, beautiful makeup, fresh face. She looked stunning. So
she did.
Rihanna doesn't care. She is going to come at her own pace. And so is
Yeah.
Cardi B. You're not going to rush me. I'm going to come at my own pace when it
Yeah.
comes to style.
I think I think Rihanna was one of those people who elevated the game. You know,
Yeah.
we give credit to Beyonce and Cardi, but Rihanna was the first person who wasn't afraid and wasn't apologetic about who she was. You know, she like you said that year that she wore that pink gown, the sheer pink gown with a uh, fur boa. You know, who at that time was wearing their whole breast out on the red carpet?
Now you're
Nobody.
seeing it. You're seeing it
You're
now.
seeing it all the time. Yeah.
Let me
So I commend
see.
people. I commend people like Rihanna.
Yeah, she's unapologetic with her style, and that's why I totally admire her because she thinks outside the box and she does things that is so revolutionary you would never see. And then you see the trend on the runway the next few couple of years. It's just like, wow, she started this, and then other designers took from it. So she's literally her and Cardi B are the blueprint for fashion designers out here because they
Mm-hmm.
are so bold, they are so fearless in whatever their choices are.
And
Like one year for the Grammys, Cardi B took it back with the vintage Mugler for one of her performances. And
mm-hmm.
she had the finger wave, there was
Mm-hmm.
the big feather. It was one of Terry Mugler's designs from his 95 collection.
Mm-hmm.
And wow, it fits her like a glove. She's able to move in it and perform in it. And then she had the pearl detail and it was like the birth of Venus. She
Mm-hmm.
came on the red carpet and she could barely move in the gown because the gown was so constricted. It was beautiful though because we knew Terry Mugler. He liked things. How would I say it? One, I heard him say this. He said he wants the women wearing his designs to feel like goddesses, to feel powerful. So you see all sorts of designs on the runway. Like he had a thing for insects. And Cardi B, I guess you consider one of her as one. I guess you would consider her as one of Mugler's music. So yeah. Miss Lawwife says for a reunion or vows or vow renewal, what color would you suggest for the bride?
I'm sorry, what was the question? For what?
For a wedding or vow renewal, what color would you suggest for the bride?
Oh, I don't really suggest colors for my brides at all, because everyone is different. I've made a turquoise wedding gown. I've made a pink wedding gown. I've made a rose gold wedding gown. Um, a red wedding gown. Um, and especially for a vow renewal, nothing is off the board. I think it's all dependent on how traditional the bride wants to be and what her vision is.
Right. And a lot of wedding traditions are not changing. It's not just classic white anymore. You're seeing them step outside of the comfort zone and go to creams and black and blues. You wouldn't see just the traditional wedding gown.
Hmm.
Yeah, fashion is changing, looks are changing, and times are changing, but some people are still stuck in that time or but it's good to be that way because a lot of those trends that we see from the exaggerated shoulders, a lot of them are coming back. History repeats itself. And that's why I go through and I read a lot of Vogue magazine. I dig in the archives. And this one is from October 1991. So I dig all the way in the archives and I see, okay, what's coming back in this time, in this current state of fashion? And I would flip through and I would see the same exact thing. And I'm just like, wow, this designer did this on the runway. And we got another question for you, Carl. Jay Evans wants to know what celebrity would you give a much needed style update to?
Ooh, which celebrity? Most people probably would kill me for saying this, but since the question was asked, and I'm being honest, Billy Porter. I hate Billy Porter style. I hate it with a passion. Like, I get it, but again, there's just that fine line. Like, I could take some pieces and rework them to fit him more better, if that makes sense. Like, I like the fact that he is so revolutionary, and I like the fact that he likes to take risks.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but a lot of the things he does is so costuming. So it's kind of hard to take him serious. It's like, okay, if you had taken the hat off, it would have made more sense. But then once you put the lamp on, now it looks like you're trick or treating. So I would,
Oh yeah, on the red carpet. I remember.
it,
But
it, it, it,
that thing got turned into a whole meme. Like it was everywhere as soon as it happened.
it was. And it got turned into a meme for the wrong reasons. Like, and then people think that he represents all gay culture, and he doesn't. Um, yeah, because it was people doing it before him. He was just the only person that people really started taking notice. Um, and again, it's just very, very costuming, and
The,
and
the
and
deal.
and not to take away, not to make it seem um, like I'm being, what's the word? Like I'm bashing him because he's an older guy, because he and I are probably around the same age. I don't know. But for a mature, seasoned man, the fashion is just wrong. It's just no.
But there is one piece that I absolutely love that he wore to the Met Gala, and that was that gold emblem, the wingspan. But for the Met Gala, you're supposed to go
Yeah,
all the way out.
for
It's
the
not
Met
supposed to look like
Gala,
so,
for the Met Gala, there's different rules. It's a different situation. It's a different night. So yeah, I get it for the Met Gala, but for all the other things that he does or he's invited to, I just need the taste level to be elevated a little bit more. Now,
like for
the
the
one
VM.
thing, the one thing that I did like on him was, I don't know where he wore it to, but he had on this white suit that was like off the shoulders, and I believe it was like a flare leg pant. I don't
Oh yeah,
remember where he wore it. I did like that on him. It's some looks that he does and he does well, but then it's a lot of misses and hits for me. So he would be the
right.
one that. Mhm.
Jay Nadir Collection says, didn't that hat have a remote control? And Jay Evans, Jay Evans says, he can just be more polished with it so it won't be camp. Right.
Exactly.
And if it's the
Exactly.
Met Gala, like Carl said, you're supposed to go all out. But if it's something like, okay, I'll have to say an award
An
show,
award.
the VMA, I would just
Right.
say the VMAs, the internet, y'all are ruthless. On Beyonce's internet out here, y'all are ruthless. I was screaming at the meme of the hairstyle. Y'all something else on Twitter. I seen it. I'ma just I seen it. And yeah, there was another look that he wore that I liked, and I think it was when he accepted his award. It was a black Tom Ford number, I think, and he had the hat, the asymmetrical hat. It was almost similar to what Beyonce wore when she was promoting the Formation album when she did a speech on stage. The
Hmm.
hat. Now I can understand that's different. I like that, and it wasn't too campy. It's just
It was
more
I
polished.
remember.
Right?
Hmm. Hmm. That's why I said
Yeah.
it's times that he does do it well, but then it's more misses than hits. So he
Right.
would be
Like,
he, he would be one that I would have to restyle.
all right, fashion dolls, we are coming to the end of the road. Do we have any questions for myself or Carl? This has been such an extraordinary interview. We talked about my favorite thing on my favorite platform here, Style by Stevie Fashion. And we got to get into the inside of this fabulous designer right here, Carl Alek Couture. Fabulous designs, so beautiful. So before we go, Carl, while you guys are typing your questions, are there any gems that you would like to give to your viewers, to your supporters, to your mentees that are watching? Any gems or word of wisdom?
Any gems? My biggest gem would be not to let anyone force you into a box. Uh,
Mm,
I love the freedom to express and to create and to just be you. So many times people will tell you what your aesthetic is, or you need to make a dress for so and so, or you need to do this, or you need to do that. I hate when people do that to me, um, because I'm doing exactly what I want to do. Just because I haven't put a dress on Beyonce or Rihanna or whoever doesn't belittle what I'm doing. I I love sewing for the small person, meaning the average Joe person. Because for me, it's not the money. I love dressing people and they appreciate the time and the effort that it took for me to create the perfect outfit for them. Um, so many times my clients will come in here and they're so lost in what they want to wear on their special day. Um, they're so, I don't know what I want to wear. I don't know what I want to do, but I just know I want to look good. And I know that you can do it. And when you put that much trust in me, and at the end of the day, when you come and try the finished product on and you stand in that
mm,
mirror and you're ready to cry, that touches me more than any of the money in the world. Um, then there are times where I have done burial dresses or burial gowns. There was one client of mine who called me last year. Her granddaughter passed away at the age of 9, I think she was. She had an asthma attack, and she called me and she was like, "Carl, I need you to make my granddaughter a gown dress for her burial." And I was like, "I don't do burial dresses." I don't know this child. I've never met her. Like, what am I supposed to make her? And she was like, I know that you're going to be able to do it. And they told me what they wanted. They told me the color. Um, they told me they just wanted a long dress. And that was basically all that they gave me. Purple was her favorite color. They wanted it to be long because it was going to be an open casket. Um, but that was it. I think they told me they wanted it to have some lace on it. So again, because I've never made a burial dress. I didn't know that, like, when they embalm you, they cut your skin and they put all these marks and stuff on it. So I didn't know that the sheer lace part had to have something underneath of it so that you wouldn't see that. So I'm sitting here for like days, just like staring into space, like, oh my God, what am I going to make this girl? What am I going to make this child? Like, first of all, I don't do children's clothes. I just had this conversation with Nadira Collection yesterday, but I don't do kids' clothes. So I'm just not in my element at all. And finally, I was like, pull it together. You got to do this. These people are trusting you. And I made the gown. And at the last minute, so the top part was lace, and I put like a nude lining underneath, so it still gave her a youthful
Yeah.
appeal. The bottom was all tulle, so it kind of looked like a ballerina gown. And then I took like these silk flowers, and I put silk flowers all over the gown, just in different spaces to give it again a little youthfulness to it. And at the end, I was like, it needs something. It needs a pop. So I went and brought these rhinestone butterflies, and on each petal of the flower, I put a butterfly. So when they came to pick up the dress, the mother wasn't going to come in and see the dress, and I was like, "No, she got to come in. This is her daughter's final dress. She needs to see it." The grandmother had came in, so her mother went out and got her and brought her in, and as soon as she saw the dress, she started crying, and I was like, "Oh my God, you don't like it?" And she was like, "No, I love it." And butterflies was her favorite, and that's when I broke down and started crying. I was like, "Oh my God!" So it's those types of moments that I make me love what I do. When I can create and make someone's whole day or their whole experience much more than what they thought it was going to be, um, I find joy in that.
Putting a smile on someone's face.
Exactly.
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 And that's what being in the world of fashion and beauty does. You make people feel good about themselves. It's about confidence. And the final word of the day, and I'm going to get to some of you guys' questions and comments before we wrap up, and then I'm going to take these couple questions. Today's final thought comes from Zach Posen. And he says, taking sartorial risk and not following other people is what makes you stand out, which is what Carl just said.
Mm-hmm.
Following your own lead. Another one of my style influences, because we talked about a lot of stylish women throughout this interview, is the late Tina Turner. Tina Turner, I would have to say she lived life and she dressed for her own, at her own risk. She did it because she wanted to excel. And another reason why I love her is that she lived life on her own terms. Even throughout her music, I remember seeing her live, the footage of her live, and she was way up in the sky. She had on this white, looks like a tube romper type thing, beautiful performance, standing up on this thing and way up in the air, and the thing is just rotating. So I said, wow. But one thing I loved about her, she loved taking risks. She was daring.
Mm-hmm.
And watching her walk in the Azadine Alaya show was just pivotal.
Mm-hmm.
So she's another of my style influences as well too. Now let me get to some of you guys' questions before we conclude and wrap up. Style and Mogul says, what style advice would you give to someone that is exploring their fashion sense?
Alek Mogul. He has been one of my clients for a minute. And not to give too much, but me and him didn't hit it off at the beginning because he was over the top. And at that point, I wasn't over the top. I was a little more conservative, and I had to talk him down off of his horse. But what would I tell someone? I would tell that person not to listen to anyone. You know, if your heart is set on something, you should get it or you should wear it. Um, it might look crazy to the rest of the people, but again, if this is who you are and this is what you want to wear, who are we to tell you not to do it or not to wear it? Now, if you come to me for advice and try to um, get it custom made, of course, I'm going to give you my opinion on what you should do and how you should do it. But again, I feel like you should be able to do what you need to be done. I feel like you need to still have the vision without losing yourself, and then I should also be able to give you that vision without losing myself, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Follow today's show is all about taking risks and stepping outside of your boundaries. And that's what I want a lot of people that are watching when it comes to dressing and creating your own personal sense of style and identity is create your own identity. You set the trend because you are the trendsetter. So you do things that other people are not doing. And we've got one more question from comment from the Nadir collection. She says, glad to see my brother in his element and the generous teachings have been a blessing. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right, Fashion Dolls, any more questions or comments for Carl? This was such an outstanding interview. Your designs are gorgeous.
Thank
And
you.
where can everyone check your collection out?
Um, so I am actually, excuse me, I got a little lint on my lip. I am actually about to present at DC Fashion Week next Saturday, the 30th. I'm also doing another show here in Baltimore. I'm about to post all the flyers. I have so many shows. I'm so busy that I forget to tell people where I'm going to be, what I'm doing. Oh, tomorrow. Woo. Tomorrow I'm doing a show in Newark, New Jersey.
All right.
Um, Next Saturday I'm doing a bold fashion show for women who are bold in Baltimore. Then that night I'm doing a show in DC. The following weekend I am doing a show in Arlington, Virginia for breast cancer awareness, the pink carpet event. I've done that for the past 3 years, I think. I'm also going to be honored in Cleveland by my big little sister, the Nadir collection, in November 11th. And then I'm also doing Danville Fashion Week, um, Danville Fashion Week in November 18th, I think it is. And then lastly, I am doing a bereavement fashion show to create awareness for mothers and or parents that have lost kids to
Yeah.
gun violence and stuff like that. And that one is November 14th, I believe. So you can catch me all around the world. I'm about to be on tour.
Oh, book.
Book
You and
and
Fire by
busy.
Nate. Nate just did New York Fashion Week. So shout outs to friend Fire by Nate. Make sure you guys go and check him out. He just did New York Fashion Week and it's in my stories. Make sure you guys are following my stories. It's a lot of fashion there. You won't be disappointed. And thank you again, Carl. I had such a great time. Your designs again are gorgeous,
Thank
and
you.
I would be honored to wear some of your designs one day here on the show.
Listen,
So, like I
just
said,
about to say,
sure.
I was just about to say, call me. We will make it. And it has been a pleasure. We chatted, a few times on Facebook or what have you, but it's finally good to put a face and a voice to a personality.
So honored. All right, ladies and gentlemen, no show tomorrow. Make sure you guys go and check out Carl's collection. He just listed all the dates. He is booked all the way up. He's got a lot of stuff that is coming for November. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Make sure you guys go and follow Alek Couture and make sure that you are supporting Black-owned fashion brands. You guys know that I support all
Say
Black-owned
that
businesses here, but I
again
want
for
to
the people in the back. So,
Black
point
fashion
the
brands.
black designers.
Yes. Here we are, Fashion Doll. And this interview will be uploaded to Style by Stevie Daytime on YouTube. Make sure you guys head on over there and subscribe and hit that bell so you'll be notified when new interviews will be uploaded. And make sure that you guys are following me here on Instagram as well, too, for more fashion. Milan Fashion Week is going on, and I will have you covered. And the new article for Original Magazine UK is up. I read my article for New York Fashion Week. It is up, so I pinned it on my profile, so make sure you guys head on over there and check that out as well. And thank you guys. Next week, joining me, we have Aaron Braxton. The lineup will go up today, and the look of the week, so you guys can vote for your favorite look of the week as well, will go up today also. So that is everything, Fashion Dolls. Take care, and I will see y'all next week. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
You too.
Bye.